Thanks for being on.
Of course. It's such a long way here. It's
Yeah,
like,
I was thinking about getting like a small coffee table or something,
right. You should
but
get a plant that's just big enough to be in the way of those tires.
I'm gonna get that figured out for sure. But yeah, just wanted to say thank you for being the first guest on this
Of course.
podcast. I think we're still figuring out the name. Some guy recommended like Wally Talks or something like that
Wabi
online.
talks. I like that.
Um, so we might go with that, but I feel like that might be biting off of taboos, like talks with taboos.
And there's only so many ways you could say talk. So.
It's true.
There's a lane for everyone.
Well, word, man. I basically just want to keep this like a free format thing. Really talk about anything. Um, you said you're dropping a bunch of songs this month, right?
Yeah, August 7th, I'll have 4 songs coming out, Spotify, SoundCloud, everywhere. And then towards the end of the month, I don't have a date yet. It'll be like towards the very end of August. I have another four, and then another four in September. Just trying to clear it all out. So
How many is it, do you think?
in total, I have at least 12. I'm trying to get to 15. So
Jeez.
yeah,
You're gonna follow kind of like what Brokaw's doing right now?
where it's just every 2 weeks. Speaking of Broke, one of those is with Broke.
For real?
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I really, really love his strategy right now.
right.
Like he's trying to make songs with as many people as possible, and like the strategy behind his releases just seems like really good.
Right. He's got good branding too. He's really committed to his craft, and it's been like I've known him since before he was producing, really, and like him then to now, it's been like a year, 2 years, something like that. I'm not really sure, but it's huge gains, man.
Hmm.
He puts in the time too, so I'm happy for him.
Yeah, for sure. He's always been a really fucking good DJ, but
Oh yeah,
yeah, I'm happy that he's making music like serious now, and I'm excited to see where he's gonna go. He just played at Soundhaven.
yeah,
You played
crushed it.
there last year, right?
Yeah, I've played there 3 times. I played like, well, was it three? Yeah, so I played the first year we were at Jaceland, and then last year played the opening day party thing. But yeah, it's been a great time every time I've been. So this last year was a little tough, but we all got through. The vibes were still 120%, so still love for sure.
Yeah, I'm sad I couldn't go, but I'm gonna make it out there probably next year. It's really hard to budget for a music festival, especially after you blow money on like Bonnaroo, and then
Yeah,
like a month later
and it's so
Soundhaven.
close to Bonnaroo too. Like that's I didn't go to Bonnaroo this year, really for the same reason. But I mean, Soundhaven was only 189 bucks this year, so
Yeah, it was affordable. I'm
yeah.
just being a broke bitch right now.
Well, it's the 189 bucks, and then the 400 to 500 you need to have to survive,
And have
get
fun.
cool stuff, have fun. Yeah, yeah. So it's not just the ticket. That's for damn sure.
What was your experience playing there last year specifically?
Last year it was cool. Like I said, we played. I'm probably gonna get this wrong, but like the pre-party was on Thursday, so and I played like right as the sun went down. So it was like right as everybody had like just finalized getting their camp all set up, comfortable enough to like go to the or the pre-party stage and
Hmm.
all that. And so when I started playing, it's just like there wasn't like a lot of people, but then like towards the end, like everybody was just like coming in troves. You know what I mean?
That's
That they
it.
were comfortable. Yeah, it was fun. It was fun for sure. Like
That kind of reminds me of who was it that played at Electric Forest? I can't remember. It's a duo. I should know their name, but yeah, they had a video of like the beginning of their set, and they like put the camera down and like picked it back up, and it
right,
cuts to like the end of their set, and like the whole field is full, and
yeah,
I don't know, that always just gives me like goosebumps.
right. And like it's kind of cool because like as you're building up through your set, like everybody, like there's more people, there's more energy coming back to you, and so it's just kind of like a constant like you
Oh
don't
yeah.
ever want to get off, like
Hmm.
you know what I mean. So, but yeah,
What's your DJ style? Do you do a lot of prepping, or is it a lot of freestyling while you're up there?
I like I'll get my tracks okay, so I'll download a track, right, and then I'll put it in record box, and then I'll set my cues,
Hmm.
and like I color code my cues, so I'm just like always ready for
Yeah.
whatever situation, and then that's
Mm.
all I do in terms of prep. Like if I'm playing a big show, like I'll get like my first 10 minutes, but that's really the maximum amount of prep I do. Like I don't, I've I've tried to do prep like a whole set, but I just feel so mechanical, and then
Hmm.
like I'll listen back to it later, and I feel like it's not super natural. I'm not saying that
Hmm.
everybody that does that isn't natural, but like for me, it doesn't. It doesn't make me feel like I'm naturally putting it out there. So, and then like really like anytime I've messed up, even playing big shows, if I mess up and you just kind of you play it off the right
Hmm.
way,
It
people are
does
gonna
that.
love it. Like if
Yeah.
you just get it like one time messed up and just like on mic and it's like oops, and then everybody's like yeah, and then you get like the big build up again. Like as long as you're cool about it, no one's really gonna say anything. So, having messed up a time or two at like bigger shows in the past is like totally just kind of made playing shows stress free almost.
Yeah.
I still get like a little pit in my stomach, you know,
Yeah.
like more not so much of being scared, but more of like anxious to like get up there and go. You know what I mean?
And then you get up there and you're like, oh fuck, I do this.
Right,
Like,
exactly. It's like you got your setup over there. It's all the same buttons. Like
hmm,
something might that's here might be here instead. Like
yeah.
they're not made to confuse you for
I
sure.
literally have that feeling every single time. Like, I don't know why I'm nervous or have like butterflies. I literally get up there every single time. Like, I know how to fucking do this. Why am I
Right,
nervous?
right. The hardest part is like the hour leading up to the set for me, and it's just like we said, like just
Hmm.
ready to go, and then you get up there and it's all natural. So, and it's funny, like growing up, I was never really super outgoing until like I got in like middle school, high school, and stuff. But I was even I'm like a forced extrovert, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
But like doing stuff like that, it's so much easier playing for like a big group of people rather than like if I was just sitting here DJing for you, I'd just be like, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? So I don't know.
Kind of getting back to what we were talking about. I'm one of those preppers. Like,
Yeah,
if I have I don't really get like too many big shows. I'm still working myself up,
right,
but for like the big shows that I have played, like I will go in and set cue points.
right.
Um, if I want like special edits, like I'll literally go into Ableton and like edit the song in Ableton exactly how I want it, and then export it. Um, and then I just have that ready to go.
Right.
Um, and yeah, I know a lot of people like frown upon that, but I feel like if you're paying to see me, then I really want you to have like a good experience. And I know I can provide that if I'm like fully prepped. I know like every single song that I'm gonna play in the order, all the cue points set up, like so.
I mean, what do you think a band does? You know, like they practice their show front to back,
Mhm.
and like this, we're doing this here, we're doing this here, we're doing this here. Like that, like you said, people pay for shows. Like you should, however, whichever way is the best way you do it. Like, don't shame that. Anybody that wants to put any shame on that, actually go
Yeah.
do something else. I'm not sure how people want to keep this.
um, yeah, I mean, and if the situation comes about where like you have to, change up in the middle of your set, like when I opened up for Tape B in Memphis, there was one song that I like halfway through the song or like for the halfway point, I was like, I really don't want to play like the second half. So like, you just do it on the fly.
Right.
And but I want one of those situations where like say like it starts like raining, right? And like you have like a song that has like raindrops or something. Like I want one of those situations just so I can like do it on the fly and just
Yeah.
like see the crowd's reaction.
People
But
will remember that for forever too. Like that's like yes.
I really want I really want to do that one day. But we'll see. What I'm gonna ask you one question, then I'm gonna check on the video. What like got you into DJing and producing, and like which one did you start first, or which one do you like more?
Yeah. It's really it's weird. Like I played with beats when I was like in high school, but that was more so like making rap beats and like it was me and my friends like freestyling at home in the car, or whatever. Like it was never a serious thing. Like my dad has been in music his whole life, like country music. The music's been around me my whole life. I just didn't. I liked it. I enjoyed it. Like I definitely went to concerts. Like I did all the music thing, but like I was an angsty teen that didn't want to be seen as like in my dad's image. You know what I
Mm.
mean? Like I want to do my own thing. I want to play sports, blah blah blah. And yeah, so when I got to college, one of my friends introduced me to this new type of music, and like it was Flume. Like right as he first started getting his, like before the Flume self-titled album. It's like when I found out about this, I started listening. And I was like, man, like this is crazy. Like this music is making me feel something, and they're not even saying any words on it. Like what? Like where is this coming from? So I got really into that. And then, like I said, like I was making rap beats back in the day, so like I kind of like found like trap and stuff like that, and like that was right when Flosstradamus would like made their or put out their first like big EP. What was it called? Total Recall, I think is what it was called. And like the trap arms were engaged from like, for like 5 or 6 years. I wrote that, and then just kind of like just been following my taste since then. Like it's this weirder like deep dub that's come out, and like bass music like Taboo, Raven Scoon, and all that. Like I get into all that. Liquid Stranger, and just been kind of riding through the subgenres since then. This was like when self-titled albums. Shit, that was 10 years ago or something like that. I think so. Just been following that around. I never really started DJing until 3 or 4 years after getting into EDM. I made beats. I mean, they weren't like great or anything, but I made like EDM songs for 3 or 4 years before I got a DJ for it. I don't know. Like it's always something I like to do and wanted to do, but like early on, I just didn't really have the drive to be like
Hmm.
to push for it. I guess.
Yeah.
Like I was still in college. I was still like being in my early 20s, being stupid, But I don't know. Like it's when I got out of college is really when I started putting like real time into it and all that. So just since then, it's just been the chase. And like I've never. There's been a couple times, of course, like industry just like BS, just go weigh you down and stuff, where I'll kind of lose the passion like by a smidge. But I've always had the passion for music, and like I've gotten to a point now where I feel like I can really express myself into it. So
Oh
it's
yeah.
it's not even like a career thing for me at this point anymore. I would love it to be. Like I'm not gonna deny that, but
You'd be doing it regardless.
I'd be doing it regardless.
I think
Like
that's a really good sign and important.
right. I
Like.
mean, 4 or 5 years ago, I was definitely like, this needs to be my, and I was just like so stern, like against myself and so forward focused that like it really hurt me creatively more so than it helped me because I forgot why I even made music. So like 3 or 4 years, I'm just making music for like other people, and like I just had to like recatch my passion in the last couple of years, and thankfully I've done that. So sorry, that was a long tangent, but here we are.
uh,
Got to fill an hour, right?
yeah, that's what podcasts are for.
Right.
Long, good conversations. Um, yeah, for me, I started producing back in 2015. And I started producing before I started DJing. And I think I kind of went through something like you did. Like, there's definitely been cycles. Like, originally, I was like so dead set. I was like, oh, I'm gonna make it. Like, I'm gonna be headlining music festivals one day, blah, 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 blah. And then, like, the passion fell off. And the crazy thing for me is like I just always found myself coming back to it for some reason. And you kind of touched on this just a second ago, but like I think I would be doing it regardless if I was trying to make it big or not. Like now, I definitely want to do it, but I know that this is something that I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life, regardless, because I love it, and I just love expressing myself this way. I started DJing probably like like 2 years after I started producing. Um, and in 2020, I think is when I started to like get more serious about it and just trying to release more and more. Um, this year was like my goal for this year was to release like a song every single month, but I failed awfully at that. But in my defense, I've had like a lot of like life shit go on
Right,
this year.
right. And it will never stop happening.
Hopefully, yeah, hopefully soon I can start releasing like regularly, like um, because I had a lot of momentum build up with my song Spirals,
Right.
and I
So I
think
got posted by thing, and then like it's got some streams. It's like six figures now, isn't it? Yeah.
Six Figs on Spotify. It's at it's over 100,000 on Spotify. It's over 30 something, 30,000 on SoundCloud. But yeah, I think if I would have just like just nailed that timing and just started releasing it, but oh well, I'll figure it out.
Yeah. And
Life
the thing is,
happens.
like, there's always going to be another song. There's going to be another hit, you know. So
Hopefully,
yeah,
we'll see.
if you got it in you, you got it. Always going to come back.
Um, who are like your influences? You say like Flume. Do you think is
Yeah, for sure. Always like I don't really make music like him, for sure, but I think it's more so like I was alluding to earlier, like the feel, like music making you feel something that it's like what I've learned from that. Um, man, as far as influences, I listen to like such a wide range of music. Like I truthfully I don't listen to electronic music as a majority. Like I listen to like 2000s R&B, like
hell yeah.
indie band, like stuff like that. Like that's what I'm naturally listening to, or like sports talk, because I drive for most of my living, so I just listen to the radio. Run
Mhm.
out of I usually tired of listening to music sometimes, but so it's hard to say what it's like really influence. I've really been into. I've really been into. Some, I don't even want to say this. I've been listening to this like some dubstep recently since the Solomon King show, just because like like okay like this is a vibe for now. I'm listening a lot to Colossal, uh, Sentient. He's really good too. He just had released Bass Rush I played at Skydeck and probably had like the highest reaction from him. I talked about this a little bit. We're not homies, I guess, but like talk to him on Instagram. So he slid in my DMs. Uh, who else? Man, really just like any kind of deep dub bass music. Like I've always loved Taboo, like I mentioned him earlier, and so like his kind of technique of his song is like of his songs are kind of prevalent in my music too, like the long bass sustains and stuff like that. But I can't really say it. It's just like one or two people. You know what I mean? Like just
Yeah.
been I've been making a lot of different kinds of music. Like I made a disco track the other day for I don't even know where that came from, but I just been trying to back to what I said earlier, like just been trying to follow the passion a little bit more. So whatever's in my head, I've just been trying to work on that and not limit myself so much. That's been my biggest problem coming up, producing stuff, just limiting what I can do. Just trying to open it up.
I feel yeah. I want to try new things all the time, and then I'll like start a track, and it'll be like garbage, and
Right,
then I just like revert back to like what I feel like I'm good
right.
at.
There's always that one preset, that
Exactly.
one drum sample. I know it.
Um, as far as me, like my influences, um, Zed's Dead for sure.
All
Nero, like that Welcome to Reality album that they released in like early 2010s.
right. Shoot,
I
that was like gateway for most EDM people too,
you
coming
think
up on
so?
Pandora Radio.
For real? I mean, just from start to finish, that album is like a masterpiece. Like
Yeah,
you can literally start at track one and like play it all the way through. I think that's like the sign of a really good album when you don't have to like skip any songs.
Right.
But I really love how they put together that album. I've personally like maybe Flume has done it, but like I've never seen an album put together like a mixtape where like each song transitions to the next one. Um, and so whenever I eventually release my first album, like that's exactly what I really want to do.
Right. Right.
Um,
It's always so sick, dude.
uh, what other influences? I'm a really big fan of like hip hop, so I try to incorporate like hip hop into my productions. Like Kendrick Lamar and like J. Cole are like two of my favorite rappers of all time. Um, but I'll like when I'm producing a song nowadays, like I'll try to find a song by any artist that I just really love, and I'm like, hey, I want to make something kind of like this, and I'll just try to kind of take elements from that song and use it as my influence or as like my reference track. Um, which is funny because like when I first started producing, I like never used reference tracks at all, and um, and then I like got my hands on this course, like this music production course, and that was one of like the key things that they highlighted was like use a reference track, like use two or three reference tracks. It'll help you so much. And like I finally tried it, and I was like, damn. Um, and like for my song Spirals, it's like modeled after Ghost by Mersive.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I don't think it would have popped off if I wouldn't have used it as an influence. Even though like it doesn't sound anything like it, but
It's like
um,
structure.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
just the structure. Um, yeah, immersive is a definitely another one of my influences. Um, I really love like the artists that I mean, just like you were saying, can really make you like feel something, and I feel like immersive is definitely one of those. Like his songs are.
His songs are so wavy too.
Mhm.
Like you can't help but right. Like he's really good.
He's gotten a lot better within the last 2 years too, because I think he released a song on one of like Deadbeats, um, like one of their albums or something like that, like one of their what do you call it,
Like a
compilation
compilation, yeah.
albums, and yeah, I wasn't like a big fan. I think that's what turned me off. And yeah, my friend Jackson Corsi was like, "Hey, like you need to give him another listen. Like you need to give him another listen." I was like, "No, no, fuck that." And yeah, his last album that he put out is like one of my favorites for sure. There's so many bangers on that, like Fire Dance, Ghost, and Worthy Opponent is like my new favorite off of that. I heard that at Bonnaroo, and that was just
Nice.
fucking
He's
crazy.
gonna be here September 2nd.
I'll be there.
Yeah, me too.
Um, so do you have any like shows coming up or anything like that?
Yeah. When is this airing?
Uh, probably tomorrow sometime.
Tomorrow.
You don't have to talk about it if you don't want. If you can't.
Okay. Well, tomorrow is on Phase 2 of a festival that is dropping. That is in Northeast Tennessee.
Ooh.
So that drops tomorrow. I don't know when this is gonna come up or when that's gonna come up, but
Cool.
we'll let whoever figure that out. They'll probably get it.
Congrats, man.
Thank you, thank you. Playing at the show is also not announced. I got some stuff coming.
Okay. Yeah.
It's all in Tennessee. Um, yeah, all this stuff is not announced yet.
It's all good.
But it's coming up. One in Kentucky. Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude.
Stuff's on the rise.
Um, let's see. This is the first podcast, so it's gonna be a little choppy. I'm gonna get better at this for sure. You
Hey, that's what
said
editing's for.
that's true. As far as you said you were growing like we can segue off of like music for a little while. So like what sports did you play growing up?
The first sport I really played competitively was hockey, surprisingly enough. Like started playing Went to a first Preds game, was hooked immediately. Um, Won in overtime. It was great. I still remember it, Section 313.
Damn,
Yeah, it
good
was.
memory.
Yeah, I was 9 years old. Like that's like one of my most fondest sports memories. And we sucked. Like the Preds sucked. Like, this was like they had been in town for like 5 years. Like their expansion team. But anyways, yeah, I played hockey from 9 to 15, 16, something like that. And like coming into middle school and high school, like I was playing football and basketball, so I just kind of had to. I can't like basketball runs at the same time as hockey, and if you want to play it in high school, like you can't
Mhm.
play anything else. Obviously, I go practice every day and all that stuff. So did that. Was much better at basketball. Um,
We got hoops in time.
yeah, we got a hoop, man.
My
Like I,
friends hooped this morning. I could just never get up at fucking 8:30.
because they all want to hoop at like 8:30, 9 o'clock, 10
Yeah,
o'clock, and you're like, dude, like
I'm sure you're like you're on night mode, right? Like you're
always, yes, always. Like I go to bed at like 1 or 2 every night, and then I have to be at work at 1 o'clock. So it makes no sense for me. Yeah. I've been getting up earlier because I work in the morning. So I've been trying to get up early so I go to the gym before work and all that stuff. But
hell yeah.
don't want to play basketball. Damn,
Yeah,
9:30
move
a.m.
it back, move it
Right.
back.
Like we
Yeah.
did 6:30 a.m. practices in school. Like there, I'm done. I'm done doing that, dude.
Do you ever play hockey anymore? Like with your, do you know anyone that still plays?
No, not really. Like,
I feel
um,
like that's one of those sports that it's like hard to play outside of like organized.
yeah, you have to play it organized. Like Cody Chaos, we played on the same hockey team. We were like in 5th grade, but like that's the only real friend. And he stays playing over here, but he also DJs Broadway, so his schedule is even later than mine. So because he's out to like 4 or 5 p.m., so I can't really line up that way. But
I feel you.
I don't even know if I could play hockey right now. I can skate, like I can definitely still skate, but hockey's a whole nother monster, a whole nother muscle group than basketball, football, land sports. It's a
Mhm.
whole different thing. Like your inner thighs will be
That's
screaming.
how I feel about basketball too. Like I don't play for a while, and I'll just like pick it up one day. I will be sore for like a week and a half, like
Dude,
because you're using muscles that you never use.
no. And like the burst muscles in your legs, like when would you use those aside from that? Or like if you're chasing your food, like back in the caveman days, like sheesh.
Yeah, I joke about this on Facebook and like social networks all the time, but like it's like every 3 times I play basketball, like I'll pull like a hamstring or something.
Right.
And I know I'm getting older, so I guess that's like to be expected, but
It's not fair.
shout out to like LeBron James, he's like
Dude.
almost 40 and like still putting up almost 30 a
And he's
game.
doing like Tom Brady 45, like good for him. Like he's playing NFL, that's something. But like he's not running around like LeBron is
Yeah,
at 38,
exactly.
cutting jug just like doing Euro steps around 20-year-olds. Like come
Mhm.
on, dude. Come on.
Well, it was like a year.
Speaking of aliens, he's the first one we need to test. Test his blood.
Bro, like, how do you feel about all that coming to light lately, like the alien shit?
I mean, we all do this. Like, I got too. It's like the meme, bro. Like I got big.
um, I'm not surprised. Like I am. All right, so here's a crazy story, okay? And don't think I'm insane, but when I was a kid, um, I woke up in the middle of the night and there was like something like staring at me, and like I thought I was imagining it, but I was like staring
Like
at it for
what?
like
Like
I don't know what it
like
was,
in
but
your room?
it was in my room. It was in my room, and I this has never happened before. I never ever think I see something, and like yeah, just one night I saw something in my room, and I'm staring at it, and it's staring right back at me. We're just having like the staring contest for like
How
two
close is
minutes.
it? Like you're laying down where you are in your bed.
Like I'm laying down here, he's probably that couch behind you,
It's at the foot of your bed, chilling.
and like I don't know how to explain it, but it just disappeared. It just I don't know what the fuck it was, but If it was
Like
like an alien, if it was like a demon, or
night
what.
terror or
I
any of
don't.
that.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I
I mean, you would definitely know. The
Yeah,
only one
I'm like 90% sure because I'm just not one to like think I saw something, like imagine something. Like I'm not one that happens to. So
right.
like I feel like I either like teleported or some shit or I don't know. But not really surprised that there are aliens. Like people have been talking about it for years. Like my thing is what do they want? You know?
Yeah.
What do they want resources? Do they want the
You want to hear something crazy? I'm not gonna say I 100% believe this, but I could feel like I could sway somebody to believe this. I think that like aliens have been obviously been here for forever. 50 months of that. We've been seeing we've been seeing spaceships forever through the 1900s shit, way back in the pyramid when they were building the Great Pyramid. Excuse me. I think. Have you ever heard of the lizard people?
I've
Lizard people conspiracy, where they basically lizard people have like infiltrated governments and are like running countries and stuff. I don't think it's necessarily lizard people. Uh,
You think it's aliens?
I think it's more so aliens than anything. Because what if you're if aliens come down here and say they don't necessarily have the biggest bomb, right, or whatever, weapons or whatever. What they've seen, if they've been studying Earth, they saw Hiroshima and they're like, oh shit, like little Dicky in his video, like Earth don't play. Like so if aliens were like about to pull up then, or like had been studying Earth for that amount of time and like seeing how we just like kill each other over like resources, like if they're not necessarily a fighting species, then like the best way to control humans would just be like into their government. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Whether it be like we always say, like there's always a distraction, like submarine people died, that's terrible. Um, and like whatever's in the news, try that in a small town, all this BS that just is news cycled all the time. Like they would know how. Like let's just distract. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? This is all hypothesis.
Yeah.
Not even an educated guess. I'm not even gonna say it's an educated guess, but that's what I think the capacity that it's next. Like if the government's introducing us to aliens, like why it was fine, just not knowing that they were here. You know what I mean? And it just being folklore. So,
Dude, I kind of feel like we are their little science experiment.
mm-hmm.
Like a lot of people have guessed this already, but like just the way that like we're so different from all the other like apes on this planet.
But
Um,
it's like supposedly it's only like this much percentage. But I mean, like how do we?
yeah, it's like less than a percent or something like that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, something crazy close to chimps.
So like maybe they came here, genetically modified us, and they're just like checking up on us. Like, for what reason did they do that? Like, I don't know, but I think like you look at like the pyramids and you see how like perfectly they're built and how they like align mathematically with like constellations and stars in the
Yes,
sky
yes. And
and
even
like
like main points on Earth of like other like Stonehenge and stuff. Man, I need to get freshen up on this now that we're talking about it. But like there's some kind of something with like the constellation, like how it triangulates from the Great Pyramids to this constellation to Stonehenge is like such like a perfect number,
mm,
or like
it can't just be random.
yes,
And had
exactly,
they been like thought out and like these people didn't have access to like other parts of the world, right? So
right? Like ain't
how
no
could they have just
Egyptians.
like planned that? Yeah. So aliens. Anyways,
Yeah,
long story short, aliens.
they're real. We're not worried about.
Fun fact about like pyramids, they're so large, they have so much mass that like if you're standing really close to one, your clock is actually moving slower than if like somebody was like miles away. Like, because like next to objects of like great mass, like time slows down.
So is the clock
It's
off after you leave the pyramid, or is it back?
well, when you leave, it doesn't like go back to normal. So say like
So your clock would still read 1 o'clock at 1 o'clock if you were got to London at 1 o'clock.
time zones confuse me, but
Okay.
like I guess what I'm trying to say is say like let's exaggerate it for a bit.
Okay.
So say if you were like next to a pyramid and say there's two people, they were born at the same exact time, they're twins. One of them went to a pyramid and one of them was like standing out in a field in Kansas or something like that. Uh, the person standing next to a pyramid would, let's just say, age slower by like a day, right? So when they meet back up back home, the person that was next to the pyramid would be like a day younger than the guy. But yeah, it's not it's very like negligible. Yeah, I said that right. Um, so you would never notice it, but it's kind of
So
crazy.
like if you hypothetically, if you built a house next to the Great Pyramid, you'd live longer.
A little bit, yeah, a little bit. You would never notice it, and you would basically die at the exact same time. But
Right.
um, yeah.
The same time biologically,
Hmm.
not the same
Well, I
time.
guess I guess both. I don't know. This is
Now we're getting
confusing.
deep.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. Fucking physics is fucking crazy. Just like how like mass can like bend light too, and like that's how they figure out where like black holes are. Like they'll just like look up and they'll see like light bending around an object. Um. Anyways, life is crazy. It's just like most people don't know how crazy it is because like we're like a product of our own reality and like what we experience throughout the day and like I don't know, but shit gets
How do you
crazy.
feel about? Do you think everybody has a soul in it? Everybody you come in contact with throughout the day, do you think there's a soul in it? Every single one?
No, no.
I think, yeah.
I
I don't
think
have a reason to think this either.
I think there are NPCs,
Yes. Yeah.
like
Like
non-player characters that are just here. Like,
some people are just like just in a routine, in a
mhm,
rotation. You know what I
exactly.
mean?
That's exactly what I think. So robotic, like you can predict exactly what they're gonna do. And you're like, are you even thinking for yourself? Like, I don't. Yeah, I've definitely met a lot of people like that. There's no way to prove it, but now that we're on the subject, I guess we can like dive into something
Yeah,
else. Like,
I became much more prepared with information if I knew we were getting here.
um, like what I'm really big into right now is like simulation theory. You ever heard about that?
Yeah.
So basically, like there's this philosopher a while back. Um, I think his name is like Nick Bostrom or something like that. He basically like posed three questions and he proved that like simulation theory is correct. Like I'm not saying that there's not a God,
Scientifically.
but
Yeah.
like maybe if there is a God, like he thinks in like a programmatic way. But I think the three questions that he posed, like the postulates as he put it, were one day we are going to reach a point where we can have a lifelike simulation on a computer and the people in it like are not going to know the difference or like the programs in it are not going to know the difference um, and I think that's true. I think that it doesn't matter when it's definitely not tomorrow. It might not even be 1,000 years from now. I think one day like computers are going to be strong enough and there's going to be something where like you can literally just get on your computer and open up a game or whatever it is, and you're just like running this world from your computer, and like everyone, the people in the program won't know the difference. It's going to appear to them like they're just living out their everyday lives like we are. Um,
Like Sims, but yeah.
uh, so I think one day that's going to happen. And then, so based off of that, uh, that first postulate, the second postulate is like, do we think that like like mankind is going to decide not to do this for whatever reason? And I think that it's already been proven, like all this AI stuff that's coming out right now, like we should be slowing down on this. Like we should be
Yeah.
like, this is territory that we haven't thought about yet, or we have, but like we're not putting enough like resources into it, and like there's no
It's
telling.
going the wrong way too.
Yeah, and it's extremely powerful. It's like to the point where like now I can get in it, and um, I code too, so like I can get in it and ask it to like write me like a part of like a program basically. Not like the whole thing, but you can knock out like really easy like tedious shit with it. Um,
Like the baseline stuff.
yeah, there's there's a library for JavaScript called React, and like React is all like there's like these components that you build, and yeah, you can ask it to write you a component for say like a home screen where you have to like log in and put in your password, and it'll like spit you out something that you can literally just plug in, and it's not like wired up correctly, like you have to know how to be able to do that, but like you'll see it on your screen, which is crazy to me. um, so based on the fact that we're not moving in the correct manner in regards to AI, like I think when a simulation type situation comes about, like I don't think we're going to handle it properly. I think we're not going to be like, no, don't do this. Like we're just going to let everyone do it. Um,
And just you don't have to tell them the whole truth either, because like people blindly follow politicians and like celebrities and all. You just get one of them to say it, and everybody's like, "Oh,
yeah, here's this cool new game.
right."
Like everyone thinks they're
I
real.
mean,
They all have consciousness.
I've done the same thing too, so it's a
I'm guilty.
human condition.
And so the third postulate is like, um, if you think the first postulate is true, that we will be able to build a simulation one day, and if you think the second postulate is also true, that we're not going to tread lightly on that and like, or like stop the production of this for any sort of reason, then we have to be living in a simulation like already, because this is complicated, but like
No, it's all coming back. Now it's all.
the logic is like if say you're like you build a simulation so advanced that like in that simulation they can create a simulation, right? If the simulation that you wrote, if they can write a simulation in their program
They
and
think
run
they're
it,
alive.
yeah, then what are the odds that like we are in base reality right now? And
Like, what if we're 3 times removed, or
yeah,
30?
or a million,
Right.
like and Elon Musk came out and said it, like the odds are like 1 in a billion that we're in like in the base reality. So that's where I'm at right now. Like I know it sounds wacky, and I know people
No, it's
are gonna think I'm crazy, but like I think it like logically makes sense.
if we can do
And
it once, then someone's already done it. Basically, like
yeah,
that's not right.
um, but I think a lot of this it kind of like supports Christianity and like the three branches of like Judaism in a way. Like say you do have like a programmer that like programmed our reality. Like, what is he? He's God, right?
Right. Yeah.
He can do
All
whatever he
powerful,
wants
almighty, all knowing. Yeah.
everywhere at once. That would be God. So
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of different ways for saying the same thing, and I think this is just another one of those situations where like people have been saying the same shit for the longest time, but we're all talking about the same thing.
I
Um,
think that happens more. People can conceive.
we're all just arguing the same side of the coin.
Right.
Crazy how like all those wars have been fought by based upon religion. It's like there's like minor differences in every single one. They're all saying the same shit. Like, be a good person, you know?
Everybody,
Like,
yeah. Don't be a dick.
don't be a fucking dick.
Right. And like everybody's allowed to. This is where I always get stuck on humans in general. So we were talking about monkeys earlier and how close we are. Like chimps know their family group and they're very loving of their own family group. They take care of each other, their social status amongst their family group. But like, if they see another chimp that's not in their family group, it's on site. Like they're killing them. Like they're either like scaring them off or like they're just brutally like killing just
Mm-hmm.
because they're not part of their family group.
Mm-hmm.
And like, say we're 2% different, like we hard to put a number on this, but like people that look at other people that are different than them, not just skin. Like skin is like the easiest one to pick on here, but religion, um, any for being poor, being rich, even like anybody that's different than them, like you just automatically hate them. And it's such a weird
It's an animal like instinct almost.
right. And like
You're like, why am I doing this? Like, why do they do that? And then,
some stuff sometimes like stuff will come to your head and like you're like this is you know what I mean? Like just by like looking at
yeah,
somebody. And like because like there's that person at the gas station. I don't even have to say anything. There's the person at the gas station behind the counter that like or there's the person at Kroger that's
yeah.
that's all I've said. You know what I mean? There's the person on the road driving crazy. There's this, there's that. Like everybody has a different concept of that, and I don't know why that's so natural for us. You know what I mean? Like it's so
Dude,
weird.
I mean, I've definitely, I've had this thought like a really long time ago, and I think about it every once in a while. But like, there's a lot of times where I'll do something and I'll take a step back and I'm like, why did I just do that?
Right?
Like, that is some serious like ape shit right there. Like, I wasn't thinking in reason. It just like came, you
Yeah.
know? And I see so many like similarities between like us and animals like all the time. And like, you can really see it like when you really start to like dissect someone's behavior. I think you can really like point it towards like animal instincts. Like, we're all animals.
I mean, we're just a derivative.
We're
I
literally
mean, who chooses what's an animal? Like, why are we the only
we're smart monkeys essentially. We're smart
ones?
apes, whatever you want to call it. There's a difference between a monkey and an ape, but yeah, like we're smart apes, like whatever. Kind of crazy.
Yeah. Right.
I'm looking at this table right now.
I know I've been reading every single one.
You can probably see where a lot of my friends are calling me bad names on this. Probably after I beat them in beer pong.
Oh, if they're
Um,
calling you bad names on a table that's gonna last forever, that people will read for forever, that's your
I've brought this to a few festivals too. One day, like I was saying before the podcast, like, oh, we'll get it laminated for sure. How are you feeling about um Titans this year?
10 minutes.
10? I'm thinking 10 or 11. I think we're gonna be better than because everyone forgot that like Ryan Tannehill got hurt last year.
Yeah.
We
And
were 7-3 before he got hurt, and then I
and
think there was like I don't know I think we started the losing streak while he was still in, but still, like most
He
of the games we lost, it was without him.
he was running for his life all the
And
time too.
Malik was not ready last year. I was telling all of my friends, like, under no circumstance are we put him in this year. None. He is not fucking ready. Like, you look at his college tape, it's just wide open guys all the time, like no pass rush.
It
Like,
looked like he was playing intramural football. Like really,
yeah, it did not
no
look.
disrespect to Liberty, but like, it's not the pros.
Yeah, everybody knew it was going to be a project, and I had a lot of my friends just saying like, "Oh, like, what do we have to lose? What do we have to lose?" I'm like, "Well, you could like break his
That's
confidence."
what happened to Marcus Mariota. Like we broke Marcus. He had 4 different
I
offensive coordinators.
I disagree.
Okay, he wasn't that dude. He was. This is what I'll say. He would have been as good as Tannehill if he was given a better situation. I'm not going to say he was going to be Joe
Okay,
Burrow
I
or
agree.
anything like that.
I agree
Like
with
he
that.
was going to be a solid starter, but with um the oh my gosh, don't even get me started. But
Dude, his rookie year, he came out and he was balling,
yeah, his
and then
sophomore year he improved on that too.
yeah, he got better his sophomore year, and then right when he like broke his leg, I've yeah, I think he was like sprinting outside of the pocket and someone tackled him and he like broke his leg. He was never the same after that.
He had
Never.
that elbow thing too. Like I don't even his muscle didn't grow back all the way in his throwing arm or something like that.
That last year before he got benched for Tannehill, I was like, dude, I
He was
defended
bad.
you so hard. Like, what are you doing? Like, he was just not throwing the ball. He just refused to throw the ball.
Yeah.
I've never seen that before. Like, and was when that was like the first year we had AJ Brown, and remember there was if the game was on the line, and I'm pretty sure like AJ was like open or like he wanted it, and like Mariota just sat back there and got sacked or something, and
Right.
like
It was like it's like 4th down or something like
AJ was so pissed. He was like on you could he was still on the field just like
that.
um and then Tano came in bald um and like Ryan Tannehill is like one of those quarterbacks where I feel like he's so good in the regular season and he just cannot carry it over to the playoffs.
Man, it would have been I was so mad.
Have you ever seen something like that before? Like
I,
I've never seen a pro athlete.
I
Ryan
hated this.
Tannehill, if you're watching this, I'm sorry, but I've never seen a quarterback, any pro athlete ever choke like that in my whole entire life.
I hate to dog because like
He's the only reason we're relevant, right? So we have to give him respect, but
in all accounts, like he's a great leader. Never met the man, never been around him. But
all he had to do was just not suck.
it's like the first, the
Just
first
don't throw
throw,
three
the
picks.
first throw of the game was straight to I think it was Amani Bates, wasn't it? Or just a Bates.
First play of the game, our last possession, he threw an interception. Right before we were going to score with the second interception, like
Also, another thing about that was that Downing. Was Downing still OC then?
not sure.
I think he was.
No, wait. Maybe.
Yeah. So they ran Derrick Henry like 20 times or something like that. And then like the only person that was like actually putting in work was Deontay Foreman. Like he had that huge 50-yard run, and he got the ball 2 other times aside from that, and they were all like 8+ yard carries. But like
Then we took him out for Derrick Henry.
and like Henry was hurt. Like he's Derrick Henry, like he's the greatest running back in the game. But I say that from Tennessee. But like
I agree.
you gotta let whatever dog is eating
Yeah,
eat.
yeah. I 100% agree. I got
Also,
scarred. I got scarred that year for sure. That hurt. That almost hurt more than when Lindell White and Algie Crumpler both fumbled on like the 3 yard line, same time in the game. Like not the same time in the game, but like 2 times in the game.
right.
God, Titans, man, like they just love to grab your heart and pull it out. And
Man, that's national sports, dude. Like Titans 1 yard away from a Super Bowl win. Preds a disallowed goal away from a Stanley Cup. It's painful, man. Painful being here. 25, 30 years of professional sports now.
um, All right, let's get back into music. So when you're producing, um, how do you go about it? I mean, like, do you set down drums first? Like, what's your mentality? Or do you want me to go first, or
I think, um, as like I was saying in the beginning, like I'm trying not to limit myself so much, and so I've been pretty open. But I always find myself going for structure before anything else. Like I'll whether it's like okay, here I'm gonna build this little drum loop, and then as we're getting into the build, I'm just gonna go ahead and lay this riser here. If I can think of anything else in the moment, then I'm gonna do it right there. You know what I mean? And then we'll get to the first drop, get there, and like whatever's in my head is what will come out first. Usually it's drums. Lay out my drums, and then kind of like just fill in. I'll get through the first drop with just straight structure,
mm-hmm.
and then like go through, then step away, like go for a walk, go do something, take a shower, do the dishes, laundry, whatever, and then come back to it, listen through it a couple times, and just kind of see where I'm at there. I'm more of like I used to be like so caught up in like such those small little things that I think it hindered projects more. So I was thinking I was get stuck thinking about this thing so much rather than like the big story of it. You know what I
So
mean?
you'll just get to like a good point in one part of the song, and like even if it's it's like not completely finished, like you'll
Yeah.
move on to the next.
If I don't have something for it right then, I'm not just gonna sit there and just go through samples, presets, whatever. Like if I ain't got nothing there, I got nothing to put on it. So I'll just kind of like keep moving along. That's whatever is there. So that's really
Yeah,
what it's come down to now at this point.
you're still in FL Studio.
Yeah, I've tried to switch 3 times, and Ableton the same for me, man. Same for me.
We're gonna have to change that. We're gonna have to change that.
Dude, my closest friends have told me that, and yeah, so,
Dude, I was on FL Studio for the longest time, and like my most popular song is a song I've built in FL Studio. But I have, I can, I mean, I think you're at this point with FL Studio, but I definitely wasn't. Like, I'm at the point now in Ableton where like if I sit down like a day, I can get 85% through the song,
yeah,
like 75% through the song. And like when I was on FL Studio, it was just taking me so long because there's so many clicks, and that's the thing that I didn't know.
keyboard. Learn the keyboard things, because I'll sit here like this, keyboard like this, and it's just like,
Okay,
yeah,
that's fair. I didn't have all the shortcuts memorized. Um,
it's my thing. Like keep like for your wrist, and then for the mouse pad up here, it's got like all
Damn, you like
the things.
got a custom setup.
No, I just worked it.
Mm.
And then like I started teaching myself. It's like I wanted to do something, so like, and then just kind of
Okay, well, in that case, you're probably fine, and I think that's probably why you can knock out a song and like really quickly.
yeah, yeah. A lot of people say the same thing. Like it's too many clicks, but
Um,
different strokes.
there's only two windows in Ableton, and one of them you really don't even have to touch if you don't want. Like you can literally just stay on the same page and keep everything in front of you at all times, and I think that's so nice. And I don't have any of the short. I have a few of the shortcuts memorized, but like I don't have many memorized, and I can still like blast through a song. And
You can do the same thing. That's how you set it
yeah, okay.
up.
Ableton also has, I think, better stock plugins. Like they're like really high quality. Um, like the filter parametric EQ2 in FL Studio is like I thought it was cool because I like didn't try any other ones, but it's terrible. Like when you low cut something, like try to take away like the low end, you really need like two or three like of those filters lined up in a row to like knock out and like
Well,
completely.
you just need Pro Q3.
Yeah, but that's more CPU intensive, right? Like if you're just trying to like,
Everything. So
you must have it pretty good.
my COVID money went to my
That's fair.
yeah.
That is a really good filter.
And
Yeah.
like you get the side EQ, the mid EQ, stereo, mono. Like,
No, it's great. It even tells you like the notes.
yeah,
Yeah, it's pretty solid. Um, I I I think I'm like a year into using that, but like I really only use it when I'm honestly I don't really even use it much anymore because I got to the point where like I started producing like kind of cool tracks, but the only thing that was really holding it back was like the mixing and like the mastering. And before I lost my job, I actually had like the funds to just like send it off to someone
yeah,
and just get them to do it for me. Um, and so I've just been kind of like getting someone to do that because that was kind of like something that I always thought to myself, but I didn't really like I guess like realize it in full until I actually did it. But like the mixing and mastering, that's what's really gonna make any track shine. Like there's a lot of tracks like you'll hear it on like YouTube or like SoundCloud where it's a really dope track. You can tell like, damn, this is tight, but like it doesn't have that shine. You know, it's not clean, and maybe like the low end isn't right, right? And that's where it's like, I mean, obviously, but like that's where like mixing and mastering comes into
yeah.
place, and it's
And like
super important. Any young producers listening, like that part is crucial. No one's
and
gonna listen to your track if it's just mud, you know.
and audio engineers like they have like the necessary equipment to test it. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like, cause they'll have like a big sub, big stereo sub, like all these other speakers out, and they'll have like three other headphones they can try it on. So like,
Shout out to the Lions Den, by the way. That's what I sent it to.
if like if you got all that just at your disposal, like it's a lot easier than because like I'm in the same kind of situation, like where we'll just be in an apartment setup, and I can like do it with my headphones well, I can play it with my monitors, I can go outside in my car and stuff. But like you, like if you could just sit there and just like, okay, okay, okay,
Mhm.
like you know what I mean? Like you got the ear, you got the ear. Not downplaying, but audio engineers do. But
Yeah,
like
that's true.
that's why they that's why you pay them to do that because they have all that good stuff.
Do you ever do you have access to like a club system by any chance? Like, because something that I've been hearing a lot. Because eventually, I do want to get to the point where I can like mix and master my own tracks, and I was getting pretty close. It just wasn't getting there. Um, but like one thing I've been hearing as I've been like listening to more and more people talk is like try to find a friend that works at a club and go play your tracks in a club. Go play like a song that you know that bangs
Mhm.
and just play your song right after it and see how it holds up. And um, that's definitely something that I want to try one day.
Yeah,
But
that's
I need more friends in the industry.
like the people I'll ask for opinions because I'll make the master my own stuff. I'll ask for opinions. Like they have like real good setups, and I'll just be like, no, like just take a listen, like leave me some notes or whatever,
Mhm.
and just kind of go from there. Because like you got a real fine tuned home system, like you can get it pretty good. Like it's not gonna be like if you're mixing master in there, like we were talking about engineers and stuff, but you
Is
can
your
definitely get it close.
is your
And even
studio is your studio soundproof?
no, I just be ripping to be real.
That's where I make all my tracks. And
Yeah, and like my neighbors, like they're all cool, so like we talk to all of them. So if they had a problem, like they would just talk to us. And like I'm not blasting all day. Like a mix and mastering session, like I'll like play it on my monitors, more so in my headphones, and I feel like okay, this is good. And then I'll test it on the monitors, not like loud. And then when I'm like, okay, like now I need to like try it, then like I'll listen through it a couple times and like everybody's cool with it. So, and I won't do it at like 1 a.m. or midnight, you know.
yeah, my neighbors next door are really cool. I think we got them to move out.
Oh,
I am like 90% sure they moved out because of us.
oh shit.
But in our defense, um, I was being like super polite about the music. I was always keeping it really low, playing at like really good hours.
Yeah.
And then, um, dude, they would always be stomping. Like, do you not? I guess every apartment complex is like different, but like you should know that like when you live upstairs, like you kind of have to walk a certain way.
Yeah.
And it it was getting to the point, no joke, where my next door neighbors were complaining about these guys. Yeah, literally, like
Like your next door neighbor.
my next door neighbor was like, "Yo, what is up with your
Is it like
neighbors?"
built straight up? Like their wall is that wall still? Or
Um,
do they have some of their like
no, I think yeah, they shouldn't. They over here
yeah.
shouldn't be able to hear anything from upstairs.
Oh
Like
my
none
gosh.
of their apartment is over theirs. There's another apartment that's right above theirs.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, fuck it, like I'm just gonna start cranking this shit.
Right.
I don't give a fuck. And yeah, they moved out like a month ago. I was
My girl is pretty small, but she's got TV stomping
like, for real.
sometimes. And she's gonna hate that. We no one's ever like I said, no one's ever complained yet though, but like I can feel it. She's small and like she's still some people just have heavy feet.
If you've never been told to like not stomp,
Yeah.
like it's hard to, you wouldn't know, like, but when I was really young, I remember like my brother was working like night shift or something, and he would hear me coming up the stairs, and he would get so mad because he was trying to sleep, and so yeah, he just told me how to walk like on the balls of my feet,
Yeah.
like the tips of my toes, kind of. I sneak like a ninja, and like even to this day, like I scare so many people because I just walk like this normally now. Like I scare so many people because they don't hear me coming up.
When like in school, like our coach always told us to like walk on the balls of our feet because like that's just how you build your calf muscle and build your speed and stuff. And so same here, like it's almost natural to kind of do that, especially if I'm walking around the house barefoot. Like that's my heel won't touch the ground. I don't know
Mhm.
why it is that way. I guess I've never really thought
You
about it.
just
You
train
mentioned
yourself.
it. Yeah.
You see any of that taboo stuff going on last week?
I like kind of saw a post and then like I started like I didn't know what it was and like I just kind of read through the comment thread. I haven't watched the actual video, so I'm not
I
really.
watched it. I watched the whole thing, and I'll just say one thing without really like diving into this. I just really hate cancel culture. Um,
Yeah,
it's like I see where y'all are coming from, but like, why are y'all acting like bullies? Like you don't have to wish someone to die. Like I see that on Twitter, like people literally being like, you can literally die, like you can fucking die, like they don't fucking deserve that. Like I think everyone deserves a second chance, no matter. Well, not everyone. I mean,
yeah,
I think there's some things that you just can't come back from, but I think in like 97% of most cases, like I think everyone deserves a second chance, and you shouldn't just like want to cancel their career that they were probably like they've probably been working for it for at least a decade
yeah.
to get to the point where they're at.
And it's like, okay, well, like let's see your highlight. You know,
Exactly.
like
You have secrets too. Like you
right,
have secrets, you have shit that you don't want anyone to know about. No one's perfect.
right, especially behind closed doors. Yeah, like I don't necessarily subscribe to like cancel culture either. There's like some things like the things that started cancel culture, I guess, like it took a lot. You know what I mean? Like you had
Mhm.
to be
Yeah.
shit to
Hmm.
be canceled. You know what I mean? And like that's those reasons, yes. But now like now that everybody has a phone, everybody has like a microphone and can be seen like and
Yeah.
like some people don't get canceled for like terrible things.
Yeah.
Like it's so off base. It's weird. And I don't know. And with it, like you said about taboo, like I don't really know. I didn't watch the videos, so I can't really comment on that particularly. But
It's probably smart that we shouldn't even dive too much more into
I mean,
it.
yeah, I'm not,
um I really do like his podcast though. He has people of all different backgrounds and
yeah,
diversities on there, and Um, hopefully we can grow this into
He's
something.
very open with his sexuality. Like, so I don't know. I don't want to say anything else because I need to watch the video
Yeah,
comment.
I feel you. Make sure that you're educated first before speaking out on it.
Right.
Um, I mean, when I was watching it, whatever. Next subject. You have anything you want to ask me?
Oh, okay. What would uh, what would your dream booking be?
Electric Forest is Electric Forest in Sound Haven, but like Electric Forest has always been
Stage time,
like
time of
from
day.
the first. Oh, dude, headline. I want to headline Electric Forest one day.
Yeah.
Um, I love the forest. Like the only bad thing about it is like it's like, right next to a lake, so there's always rain, which is unfortunate. But I just think it's so magical. And it's such a great place, and it's just always been a goal of mine to headline there one day. I don't like I'm in this for the long haul. I'm 31 now, but like even if I have gray hairs, like all my hair is gray and I'm headlining, like and then I've reached my goal and I'm happy. Like,
Like we said, like we would be doing this anyways. Like I'm, yeah, definitely.
what about you?
I haven't been to it actually, but all my friends have been. They all say
Dope, dude.
it's like the one for sure. So
Dude, there's this man. So it was the second time I went, and the first time I went, uh, I tried some L, and I like, really did not have a good experience, and I always felt like I like lost like a piece of me that day. And I went back to Electric Forest the next year and tried mushrooms for the first time, and like literally had one of like the best days of my whole entire life.
yeah,
And it was so weird. It was like my soul had just been like sitting there for like a year, and like it just came back to me that day. And uh has Hippie Sabotage gotten canceled? I don't know. Anyways,
yes,
I was watching one of their sets and one of their songs came on, and it was like in the middle of the day, like weather was like so perfect, so perfect. It was like warm but like not hot. There's a breeze and like the trees were like swaying with the music, and I just started crying. I was
yeah.
like, I was far back, so I was watching the whole crowd just like move and like flow with the music, and the trees were dancing too.
I'm getting chill.
Dude, it was beautiful. It was so beautiful, and yeah, yeah, that was a really good year at the Forest, and that's probably a big reason why I want to go back there and like headline there one day. It's just I want to provide that type of experience to someone one day.
Mushrooms are so much easier. They're so much easier.
It's not like an all day event. It's like
Right.
6 hours, and then there's like medical benefits to it.
Mhm.
Like there have been studies where like people will have like a heroic dose or whatever, and um like I forgot exactly like what chemical in your brain, but it like it'll basically make you happy for like 6 months essentially. Like you have like 6 months of like better self-esteem, like the chemical that's related to like happiness is up. And so yeah.
I mean, yeah, like I like one of like the most depressive times of my life. I guess this is about 6 years ago. Like I've been down in the dumps 2 3 months. Girl just dumped me, homeless, the whole deal, the whole shebang. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And like went to this festival I was playing at out in Cookville. It was a Stabby Fest actually. It was Wubs before Wubs was Wubs. Um, and like out there like just doing casual mushrooms. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Casual mushrooms with my friends. They gave me a golf cart, so I was like just when you're tripping and you have a golf cart and you can whip up anywhere and just be everywhere all at once, like that is prime. That is so prime. But yeah, like had the best day of my life. Like I didn't like heroic dose like you were saying. Like I would eat like gram or two every couple hours, like over the whole
Mm,
day. So I was definitely like still there mentally, but just I don't know. Like I've been depressed for a while. Like I've never just bounced back so quickly and so like solidly like over the months after that. That like that if that was a scientific experiment, then that would just be like living proof of like how it beats depression. Because it's not like anything huge happened. Like
mm,
I went to a music festival. I hung out with all my friends. I had been hanging out with my friends for a whole months. I was at a music festival. I had gone to a couple before, had great times, but like couldn't like break the snap. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And like just something about it, man. Like I can only that's the only it was medicine. Like I don't know.
I
I didn't use
rewired
it
your
to go
brain.
crazy. Yeah, I didn't use it to go way out there like I have been. But
Yeah.
like
Did it
just
in
doing it the right
moderation
way.
and it
Yeah,
like fixed you.
right.
That's
And
good.
like the reason like I went to those other two festivals and like didn't really do any like emotionally altering anything like smoke weed. And just because I was so depressed. And so this time like doing mushrooms, just like I was like, well, I'm just gonna eat them slowly throughout the day. It's like I don't want to like get stuck in my head
Hmm.
and just be stuck in a ugly place for the rest of the weekend. But I don't know, like doing it the right way and on almost medicinal. I wasn't doing it medicinal, but like an almost medicinal form, I
Hmm.
could definitely and speak for the results.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and to be real, I haven't been depressed since then.
Yeah.
Like I've been sad, I've been
How many
down
years ago was that?
6, 7 years, man. Like and like bad shit happened. Like I've had deaths. My two of my best friends died in like 2 weeks apart from each other. Like my grandma died. Like I've lost a lot, and like since then, and it like I was sad in those moments, but like I don't know, I've never ever been that low again.
That's good. That's good to hear, man.
Yeah, and maybe I lost a part of me. So I'm just not allowed to feel bad, but I'll live with it or without it. I mean,
Depression is crazy, man.
yeah,
Like I've definitely I'm trying to think. I feel like I was pretty depressed before that forest trip. Um and yeah, like I definitely go through like cycles. um when I lost my job early in February, like I have a job now, like I'm stable, which is
yeah,
cool. Um but I lost like a really good job and um like some other life stuff happened and yeah, I was pretty bummed, but I was able to bounce back from it. But yeah, I mean, I guess I just like I go through cycles and it comes and goes. But mushrooms have definitely helped because I feel like a few times that I've taken them, it was like when I was basically like at my lowest point, and just being able to come back from that and bounce back in a way that's like you're even like a better person, like you're in a better position than you were like before or like when that depression was happening.
yeah.
Yeah, mushrooms can do that for you.
Have you ever seen the movie Soul, the Pixar movie? Okay, so this is gonna be hard to pick. So like the way these people in this movie they depict depression as so there's all these different realms for your soul, right? Like there's baby souls that are they're like in this preschool type environment, getting ready to go into the world, like getting trained up on like figuring out what they like, what they don't like, so they can go to Earth and be a human or whatever. But like you're still always spiritually attached to this. We're gonna call it heaven. They didn't call it heaven, but that's just the closest example I can think of it. Like your spirit is always attached to this world down here. And like in one of the realms, it's like here's like when you get in the zone, like so you're out hooping, right? Like your soul is like in the zone in this one realm above right here. This
Hmm.
one realm. And like you can see like all these people up here, you see a basketball player hooping, you'll see someone down there playing piano, just like in the zone, right? Or someone making sales, whatever. And then like in the same realm, there's like these people on the ground, and they're like sand people, like, and they're all their limbs are just kind of like they're all walking around or whatever. They just look like creatures, you know what I mean? Like empty eyes and all this stuff, and they're just like walking around, and like you'll hear like one of them going like make a sale, and just be like stuck down there. And like the movie depicted it so that like these souls who were working so hard to get back to this zone up here in the same realm. They're all working in this working realm. We'll call it that. Like to get into the zone, like they were working so hard to get back to the zone that they had lost their passion. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And so these people way up here having a great time in the zone uh, were above all these people that had just gotten weighed down by these people's drive to.
They're trying to get up there,
They're
right?
trying to get up there.
But
So
they just
like
kind of like forgotten,
they
or
they just have lost the passion for it, and they're just like. So if it was a piano player, they'd be like, get a gig, and if you're just constantly focused on like getting a gig, getting a gig, getting a gig, then like you're just
yeah,
weighed down by it. You
I
know,
think
like
that's what
you
you're
can never
saying.
get back in the zone. I forgot why I got here, but
I think I'm
oh,
not
depression. I remember now.
I'm not sure if I mean I'm sure like women go through this as well, but I feel like this is like a really big issue for like men, where like you just have like these goals in your head and you're like so dead set
Yes.
on like reaching them, and you just stop to forget to smell the flowers every once in a while. You're like
Right.
so focused on it that you're like not really like you're forgetting to live
Mm-hmm.
almost, and that's what that kind of remind me of.
Really, that's exactly the point they make. It's like you could be so swallowed by your passion, and you're wanting to get to the zone that like you just get out of live. You're just weighed down by your own passion. You can't chase your passion unless you like open up your head, open up your mind, and like that's kind of the same thing with depression. Like if you're just stuck, like oh, like I'm sad because of this, I'm sad because of this. Like this is really like this is a big stress. Like you still gotta remember to live, to
Hmm.
break through because you almost gotta be you gotta get the sand off you, get the weight off you.
Yeah, that's true. There's also like I think that might be like self-inflicted depression almost, right?
Definitely.
But there's also like medical depression, or what do they call it? Basically like you're you're just like chemically imbalanced,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's
That's
also like
definitely a thing. For sure.
yeah, which is really unfortunate for those people. And I feel for them because like depression is no fucking joke. It's no
Imagine
fucking
like
joke.
AD, like having ADHD, OCD, like that's annoying, right? But imagine just being fucking sad all the time, dude. No, not good.
Yeah, one of the lowest moments of my life was like my first job out of college. I was working for this drug lab, and like we basically just took people's pee and we tested it to see if like they did any drugs or whatever, which is kind of ironic. But um, man, I just remember like being like at my lowest point when I was working there because I was like, I don't want to work here. Like, this is not what I want to do. And like, I remember driving in literally every single day and just like having this like overwhelming feeling of just like I hate my life,
Yeah,
you know. Um, so like I guess just like casual things like that can bring about depression.
definitely.
Yeah, just trying to make it through life, and but it's crazy. It'd be like that though.
And sometimes like we sign ourselves up for this. You know what I mean? For our bouts with depression, like we've all had like the job you explained, like, and then at certain points, like you like something has to happen for you to be like, yo, like I am choosing to come back here. You know what I mean? Like I've done the same thing. Like I worked this job I hated for like a year and a half, 2 years, and like finally it's just like, dude, like it's scary to jump ship
It
for sure.
is.
Change is scary, but
Yeah, it
Like
got
sometimes you have to go through like a little bit of rough time to like
exactly,
really be getting your groove. You know,
exactly.
2 weeks for the rest of your life, a month for the rest
Yeah. Um, so that same job I was working at, like I was trying to find like another job while I was working there, and I would be like applying for jobs while I was on the clock there. Um, but it's funny how like life has a way of like pushing you in the right direction.
of your life.
Um, so like I said, like that was one of the lowest points of my life, and I had worked there for like 3 years, and um, I got fired from that job. And I remember calling my brother, like I was in tears, like it was my first job out of college, and it's like I don't know what I'm gonna do, blah 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 blah. Like I was crying, and like 3 months later, I got another job at like an environmental lab, which is actually where I'm working at now. This is my second time working there, but like it was just so much better because like I feel like I'm actually like making a difference,
Mhm.
like we like test the environment for like different contaminants or pollutions and
Oh yeah,
stuff,
that's really
and
good. No,
yeah, it's definitely like more rewarding, and like the people that I was working with are just like a lot cooler,
mhm.
um like much more like chill and like relaxed. And
There's not really much monotony with that job either. It's like,
it was a little bit more money. They were like way more flexible in my schedule, and like eventually, like they were working with my schedule to like let me like figure out how to learn how to code. So I like learned how to do this boot camp, or I went to this boot camp where I learned how to code in 2020, and the only reason I was able to do that is because like this company like actually cared about me, and they
oh
were
yeah,
like, yeah, I mean like as long as you get your work done, you're fine. And basically that was like the mentality, and um, I was able to then get my first programming job after that, uh, where I worked at for like 2 years. And but like I was saying, it's like life has a crazy way of like pushing you in the right direction. Like because I was fired from that first lab job. Like I was trying to get out of there so bad, and then like God was just like, "Hey, like you're done. Like
yeah,
you're gonna be fine. It's gonna be scary, but like you need this push."
right. And like now, like you have the power to like help somebody in this situation. You know, like I've been through this, buddy. Like 3 months later, you're gonna get your environmental laptop. You know, like
Hmm.
that's great.
Yeah, I hope someone hears that because they're like when you're going through something, it's so hard to like see clear,
Yeah,
But yeah,
I've okay,
I wasn't gonna really say anything.
okay.
Just
Like found now I'm 32, so I'm like same. We're basically the same age. uh, but like I found that the uncomfortable points of my life were the points where I learned the most about either the most about myself. I found something that I could live for. You know what I mean? Somebody, whatever. Like coming out of like those just deep, dark points. Like I've learned so much and have always come out the other side like
better.
so much better. And
Hmm.
like life is crazy, man. You're climbing the hill of life and then you're just down, like
Hmm.
straight down, and you'll be here for a minute, but just you're always gonna come out of the valley. Then the hill's always gonna end. The valley is always gonna go back up. Like that's it's just life, man. And like I've found now, it's more of a mindset getting through those times, which is probably like kind of played into what we were talking about earlier about like battling depression and like not beating it, but I feel like not as susceptible to it. Like it's knowing that like being in the valley, like being in the swamps, or like there's always I'm always gonna get out of this, you know. And you got to just go through shit to know that you can get to the end. So the uncomfortable moments in your life is something that is terrible and it sucks,
But they
but
can be good for you.
it's a blessing. I consider the uncomfortable moments in my life like blessings that I've had in my life. Definitely.
It's crazy,
I
man.
don't look forward to them, but they like that. I've always gained more than I've lost in those moments.
I 100% agree with you there. Life is crazy, dude.
It's kind of it sucks, but it's also
It's like that. Have you ever seen that meme?
I got
Have you ever seen that meme of the guy like digging towards like a pile of diamonds? There's like two people digging towards a pile of diamonds, and like one guy quits when he's just like a
hmm
few more strokes, like he would be right there, and like another guy is he gets it, you know, because he just doesn't give up, and I think that's that's a lesson that everyone can learn. Just like just keep pushing.
and like most everybody's goals in their life, it's just not something that you're like, oh, it's like the next right here. You know what I mean? Like you fall into that stuff 99% of the time.
A lot of it is luck for sure,
Yeah.
just preparation
But
and
yeah,
the right
it is
time.
luck, but you do have to be prepared
Hmm.
for the situation too. So like you still gotta do your work, even though it does take luck. Sometimes luck don't come around very fast.
You gotta take
And stay grinding.
stay grinding and make sure you make the most of that
Yeah.
opportunity.
Sheesh.
How much time we got left? This was a good conversation.
Yeah, we can go.
Let me check the clock.
It's 7 o'clock.
Yeah, I think we can. I think we're at a good point. I think it's been like an hour and 30. Be cool to call quits.
Oh yeah, good. More than I would say.
You want to plug yourself real quick?
On everything. Follow me on Spotify. I'm trying to get my Spotify numbers up. SoundCloud, of course, but don't worry about that. Just load up my Spotify right now. Um, Shows coming up. Lots of music in August. Um, yeah,
What's your
pretty
Twitter
excited.
handle?
Oh, Twitter. I don't really get on Twitter anymore, actually, but it's Sickish on everything.
Okay.
You can look up Sickish to find me. Well, actually, Instagram is DA_Sickish, but that should still be one of the top.
I'll link everything in the comments or the bio. Whatever part is below this right here, I'll put it here.